Hi everybody. Okay, we're back here. I just actually made a couple of updates here. I added the label on the arrow here, right? So we know what data is actually coming from the device. Of course, we're getting the user's latitude and longitude. So it's going through the cloud, coming over to this other user device here. And that's how this user here knows that these users are where they are. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and create the database to house this information. So we already created a set of files that pretty much to tell us, determine what kind of data is going to be inside of the database tables, right? So let's go ahead and create that database. So let's go ahead and break this open here. Let's also get this out. What we'll be using today, we're using Podman. As you can see, I took away the Docker instance there, or the Docker icon. So we'll be using Podman, and we'll pretty much just got to run these scripts, right? Or these commands, I should say. So these commands will actually enable us to go ahead and create the database. There we go. So first thing, this is going to create our pod. So we'll go ahead and run that. That creates the pod. All right. And this command here will actually create, now notice here, this will create the database. Notice we're actually using Postgres, well, that's PostGIS. So that is the GIS version or enabled version of Postgres there that actually has an extension in it that allows us to manipulate location data. All right, or GIS data, I should say. So we'll go ahead and run that. That'll create it and run it. As you can see, we're actually using or specifying two different ports here. So this port 80, is where the PNG or PG admin is actually going to be running, the admin tool. All right, so that's port, and we're pretty much going to talk to it on this port right here on our local machine. But inside of the Docker instance, it's actually running on 80, right? So we're just mapping it to 9876. Here, we're just mapping this port right back to itself. Well, this is the internal, this is the external. 54, 32, 54, 32, right? So that's, so we should have our database running now, database instance that is, inside of our pod. And this will go ahead and download and run our PG admin client, right? So we'll be able to actually see the database and create the database. All right, so what do we got here now? So now those are running, all right? We can actually tell they're running by looking at, well, let's see, let's look at our pod, man. There's our pod right here. We can see that the pod is running. So we'll have to actually, here we go. Here's our running pod right here. All right, got a bunch of other things there, but that's pretty much neither here nor there. So we have our pod running, and that is interesting, right? Okay, cool. So we have our database running, and now we're actually going to go ahead and push our data into the database. Here we go. Oh, hey, oh, yeah, hey, okay. Well, it's already open. That's right. Hey. All right. Let's go ahead and throw that out there. Let's take a look. As I said, I already made a, all right, I'm using GitHub's client here. As you can see, this is our repository. This is the file that contains our, the tables for our database, tables and triggers for our database here, right? So we will go ahead now and create a, when you're actually designing an application and you're running the application, what you want to do is you want an easy way to create the database, and you want an easy way to destroy the database. So what you want is you want the create scripts and the destruct script, or the destruction scripts to, or I would say create and drop, right? So you'll create the database and then you drop the database. And while you do that, well, hey, if you're in development mode, you're just Sometimes you want a fresh instance or a fresh database, and you just want to go ahead and spin up something fresh. Or sometimes you've created a huge amount of data inside of your database, and you just want to go ahead and drop it. So what you do is you want to easily do that, right? And you also want a set of scripts that will easily allow you to create multiple databases. So if for whatever reason, maybe you're running 3 or 4 or 5 instances, just because you want to try different things out, you just want scripts that will actually allow you to do that. So basically what I'm saying is you want a semi-automatic way to just create your database and delete them. So what we'll do, we'll go ahead and have our AI agent generate some Python scripts for us that allow us to do that. All right, so let's go ahead and tell our AI agent to get to work. We're using Claude, right? There's a couple of things that we can run once we get this thing up and running. Once we get Claude up and running, like initialize, and there's a lot of little interesting things. Anyway, as time goes on, let's see what we can do, and let's see what we have. All right. Anyway, so let's go ahead and tell Claude here. It says, okay, create a database. Let's see, create a database script. Let's see here. Let's see, you always got to gather your thoughts together. All right, so let's see, create a database script. All right. Create a database initialization script that takes a DB name as a parameter. So we want to be able to pass in the database name as a parameter. Create a database script. Sure. Right. Let's see. So, all right. The script. All right. The script will create a database user. You always have to create a database user with Postgres, right? You want to create that user, and essentially that will be where, the schema / user, right? And then that will actually be where the database will live. And let me see, script will create a database user and the corresponding database. Oh, this is and the database. All right, and the database, right? So we can go ahead and let it generate the script. The file will be a .sql file placed in this location here. We're just going to put it in resources for now. All right, here we go. Let's go. Let's see what it does. All right, it's churning. It's doing its thing. All right, here we go. Good context, yada, yada, yada. Okay, all right. It's running. It's deliberating. Okay, what do we have here? So, such and such and such. It'll do such and such. Oh, let's open this up a little bit more here so we can actually see what it's actually saying. All right. All right, that makes sense. This is the command line utility that it will run to do that. Right, so by default, most likely we're going to log in as the Postgres user. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, because that's the default user that is created. This is the name of the database that will be created. So let's go ahead and see Let's see if it grants the user permissions to the database. That's a big thing. I didn't specify that, but let's see if it did that. All right. Okay. All right. This is the use context here. So we got the database. All right. Great. Okay. So create database. Here we have create user. Already exists, skips, that's fine, so that's great. All right, so that looks like that works for us. Create users and login. So where does it get the password from? Because we also want to be able to specify the password, right? So let's see here, database, connect to the new database, finalize setup, grant all privileges. Excellent. Okay. So it's essentially just taking the username as the database. Okay, so that works. That's simple enough, right? So essentially that's going to be our user slash database name, username of the database as well. Okay. Now we're just taking one parameter, fine. Where are you getting the password from? Also, all right. Also allow the password for the DB to be passed in as a parameter. Okay, so it's thinking. Let's see what it's doing. Excellent. So we have the user, we have the name, we have the DB password, so it will do that. Okay, excellent. Great. Okay, so it looks good. So we got something yummy, and we'll see whether or not this thing works. Great. Okay, great. All right, so create a similar drop script. So notice how I didn't give it two instructions. Now it could have probably done two instructions, but we just focused on one instruction first. We just focused on creating an int script, all right, initialization script. Now we're going to focus on creating the drop script. So let's go ahead and see what this does here. So drop database script, yada yada. Name of the database here, right? So great, excellent. I noticed you didn't allow us to pass the password in here this time as well. Now that could be an environment variable, I suppose, but we want to be able to go ahead and make sure that we get that. We want that option. So let's see. Also, password as a parameter. Oh, okay, wait a minute. Doesn't need a password. Only use create time. Could you clarify? Oh, foolish me. It's quite right. Oh, because we'll be doing this as the admin Postgres users. So usually what will happen is you'll already be authenticated to the system, and you'll be able to delete that. Oh, look at that. Hey, well, good. No, you're right. You are right. See, the AI is smarter than me. Yeah, we know that. Okay. Continue. Okay. So it should now then create the script for me, and then, this looks adequate, and this is what we're going to go ahead and go with. So now we have our drop scripts, all right, that will allow us to create our database and drop the database. But guess what? we don't want to always run these things manually either, right? So what we're going to do is we're actually going to create a Python script that will actually run these scripts for us. Now, we could just actually embed the code from this into our Python script, but hey, I think our Python script may evolve to something else. Anyway, we'll see. Okay. Create a Python script that will connect to, that will run, that will run the initialization script. All right, so we'll do that. All right, we'll do that. And let me see. With the necessary, needed params meters, right? So let's go ahead and see what it does. Let's see what it does. Oh, you know what? No, let's go ahead right away. Let's stop it. We didn't focus its attention to this. All right, we always want to be as specific as we possibly can. We don't want it to start searching around the database, searching around files at this particular point in time. Plus, we also did not initialize Claude to actually take an inventory of the files within this particular application yet. We'll do that, but so it'll actually look around and try to develop an understanding of the context of what you're trying to do. So let's give it the context so that it doesn't have to guess. Okay, so we'll just basically specify this file, create a that will run the init, right? The init file. All right, and there we go. So here we're giving it the context script with the needed params. Boom. Okay. Put the Python script in here. So we want to put the Python script in here at this level. All right, there we go. See what we get. Should be interesting. And oh, well, before I can even yak. All right, so this is cool. So it's running the command. It's actually taking in, see, the port and all that kind of stuff, probably specified. So it's using the default for Postgres, makes sense, excellent. So it's using localhost, so which are fine. All right, database password for the new database. All right, this is good, excellent, okay. Database to create, and it's using the command line, right? So this is, yeah, okay, and this is the script, I assume. So where's this coming from? Where is this coming from? Okay, yeah, so it's actually, all right, so it knows, all right, great. All right, so I think this is adequate. It looks good, okay. All right, so it wrote that. Let's go ahead, create a Python script that will do the same thing. Okay, it will do this thing here. All right. And we can throw these scripts away whenever we don't need them, if we don't need them at some point. Run the file, such and such and such. There we go. All right, so that's pretty straightforward. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Here we're just gonna drop it. All we're doing is specify the name. Here's the script. It's hard coded. Great. All right, looks actually decent. All right, we'll test it out and see what we got. All right, so we have our drop scripts and our create scripts. So great. So now what we're going to do is, now we have our database. Now we can run these scripts to see what we can or cannot do and see whether or not it actually works. Here we have a terminal. we have access to our script right here, and let's go ahead and run the Python script. Oh, well, I got to go inside the correct directory now. All right, there we go. So let's go ahead. We'll run our Python script here. And it should give us an error. Excellent. Great. So it's telling us the usage. Well, not an error, but, just basically telling us what the usage is. And we'll go ahead and specify the password and the name of our database. Database name, password, such and such and such. Okay, excellent. So we'll just go ahead and do this. The port and everything should be fine. So we already know that the database name is here. All right, here DB, I think. Let's call it here DB. That's what we want it to be called. All right, here DB. That's probably also the name of the container that we created as well. Let's just check real fast. Not to be confusing, but I think we named the container. Yeah, so the container, or the pod. Well, the container that's, okay, so here is the name of the pod. This is the name of the running instance there. Okay, all right. So by default, of course, Postgres is Postgres. That's the name of the user that we'll be using to log into the database. Curious to see how this is actually going to go ahead and do that. Let's see here. Let's go ahead. I should have just dragged that over there. There we go. And now we'll have a password name here. Let's see what it'll actually do. Okay, it's connecting. Oh, it's asking for the password for Postgres. And the password for Postgres is also here. As we can see, if we look at our scripts here, this is the password for the Postgres user. All right, the administrator Postgres users here. So we'll just pass that in. That's what it's asking for, so it can authenticate. Now, we could just make this a environment variable. All right, and it should go ahead and won't have a problem. Okay, wait, whoa, what happened here? We have a problem, folks. Let's see, so the role such and such doesn't exist. We name, oh, excellent. So we have an error. So it looks like it was able to connect to the database, but let's see, connection to server at blah, 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 failed. Oh, okay, well, maybe not. Let's retry. Maybe I typed in the password incorrectly. Okay, role such and such does not exist. Now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and ask the AI. Let's see what it can do for us. All right, here we go. I didn't actually validate. Before I even do that, let's validate that we can actually log into this thing. All right, so let's go ahead and see if we can connect to the admin here. Admin client, okay, here we go. All right, cool, okay, so this is that. Here, and we'll go ahead and put in the password here. And yes, we were able to log in. Excellent. So we were able to log in, and let's see if we can actually see the database. Oh. Okay, wait a minute here. Let's go ahead and see if we are able to add a server. All right, so we'll add the server. Okay, we'll add Mr. Server. Here we go. All right, so here we go. We got the server name. Go ahead and go here to, why is that? Oh, okay. All right. So anyway, so this is just going to be localhost. That's correct. Username is actually going to be Postgres. This is going to be our password. So Postgres. All right, that's going to be the password here. Interesting. Strong password. Okay, we'll hit save, and yes, we were able to connect. So we were able to connect to the database. So that means that's not an issue. The database actually exists. This is the default database that comes with Postgres. There we go. So we validated that. So let's go ahead and see what's going on. I'll try one more time just because, hey, I don't, what the hell. All right, so here we go. So here. There's going to be the same outcome. Okay, great. So now we'll ask the AI to go ahead and fix this. We want to give it the full entire context of what's going on, right? Go ahead and do that. Go ahead. Work your magic, AI. The issue, blah, 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 such and such, doesn't work, such and such and such, disable inside $1, such and such. Okay, so let's see, what was the problem here? Store variables, session, such and such. Oh, okay. String, they are accessible inside of the do block. All right, okay, all right, so there we go. So this is the magic that the AI works for us, huh? Let's try that again. And let's see, we'll provide our wonderful password. And let's see if we get this thing to work. Let's see, users such and such created. Okay, that looks great. And why do we have an error? Could not receive data from server such and such and such. Oh, let's take a look right now. We'll be able to see whether or not that was created. And see what's going on here. Let's see. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Well, really the question is, great, okay, so we have that was created, but we do have a problem. You can see by our little arrow, see we're not connected, and it should be nice and happy and empty. Public schema, okay, so it did not, it's a DV, but we don't have the, yeah, it's okay, but we don't want public. Interesting here. So let's see what's going on here. See what the other piece of the issue is. Did create the database, so I think we're golden. Hold on, let's see. Trying to see why we got what we got here. What's this error about right there? Of course, could not receive data from the socket. Might just be closing sockets and all that stuff. Let's see, okay. Okay, if that, not that, set that to localhost. Okay, all right. Okay, so we're going ahead, since connect database. So this is where it's actually performing the connection. Okay, that is fine. I don't see any issues there. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Okay, all right, so that is that. So what we'll do now is drop the database, or drop what we have, so that we can retest. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So it's going to be a test of the drop script, right? So go ahead and drop this drop this database. All right. Okay. Drop successful, such and such. So now we also have, we have the same exact issue that occurred in that script. So that's fine. So it looks like it dropped the database. Let's go ahead and make sure, let's capture the whole entire, I'm not sure if I did that. Here we go, get the whole entire context so that it can make the update. So that shouldn't be a big deal. It's just gonna add those variables there. And let's just go ahead and make sure that it did delete what we thought it should have deleted, which is our database. Let's go ahead and refresh that. And yes, so it dropped our database. Excellent. So we can see that that works. We have some validation there that works. And there we go, same exact deal. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and go back and recreate our database and drop our database. That's all. So we got the recreation of the database. Again, here. Okay, excellent. So got the same thing. So it should have been created. Excellent. Great. Let's go ahead and see. Great. Okay. Okay, so, all right, well, we'll go ahead and, wait a minute here, that's not right. If the user already exists, that means our drop script did not delete the user. Let's see, beep. Let's take a look here. Okay. Yeah, this drops the database itself. But, hey, it looks like I overlooked that. Did I not? Okay, well, this is drop user. So what's happening here? Yeah, it's drop user. Well, let's take a look here. Let's actually see. Before we do that, let's go ahead and handle this first. Let's let our AI agent handle that for us. See what it comes up with now. Okay, so we're going ahead and we're redoing, okay. We're redoing that. Misread the parameter, okay, all right. Honest mistake. Okay, so it's resubstituting back in the, okay, this is the actual query. Let's see, build a connection. Okay, so, all right. All right. Let's go ahead and perform our drop here. And we're going to go ahead and put that. The user's dropped. No issues this time. Excellent. Great. So there we go. So now, when we create the user this time, we shouldn't have any issue. Let's see here. So users created this time, database created. Let's see, let's take a look at this with our own eyes. Oh, so we're not granting any privileges. I see. That is the problem here. Okay. Not sure what the purpose of this anyway is. Where are we? Oh, okay, I see. All right. I see. I don't know why you can't just grant the privileges now as this. Yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this out. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and delete this. Drop this user. Drop this database. Great, so it's been dropped. Now we'll do this once more. Excellent. So there we go. So now we most likely have been granted our privileges. Right. So yeah, that extra line here, this is really wasn't necessary, right? I mean, we're already connected, so not. Anyway, let's see here. So that's why you gotta have some kind of insight. Okay. So. I think one second, I gotta get a drink. We're already at 36 minutes just for creating a database. creating some scripts that actually create the database. We haven't even run the scripts yet. Oh, okay. All right. All right, I'm back. So we so we had created the database, right? So the only thing now is the schema that we're missing. So we got our database, we got our drop and create script. So we just need to ensure that the schema is created. All right, so we'll go ahead and update that, our wonderful script here to create the schema. And we should be good to go. Update to create a schema. Schema. Take a param for the schema name. This is where all our tables will go. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's where all of our tables will go. Inside of our schema. Well, tables and other things associated with that. So we got that, looks good. So basically all is pass that in the command line, pass that as a variable, and then use that to create our schema. If it doesn't exist, of course. Or it exists. Excellent. Okay, that looks fine. We'll test this out. And this is part of, doing things step by step. We could have actually asked it to do it, do everything, right? Meaning, create the user, create the database, create the schema. But it's better to break things up. You see how we had issues where we just asked it to create this script to do this, and essentially it was several issues that arose as a result of so it's just updating the Python script. Okay, to do that. So that makes it easier. Fix little problems and keep it moving. Keep moving forward. So now we're just gonna go ahead and drop this. Yeah, let's go ahead and drop this. All right. Okay, I typed in the password incorrectly. User error. So, of course, typing in the password. We don't want to have to continuously do that. Let's see. Database drop, such and such cannot be found. Well, we need to address that. Detail privilege for such and such drop user statement. Okay, let's see. Oh, let's go ahead. Drop the user. Okay, fine. So it's cascading. Let's see. So we're not saying there's any issues, any problems. Wait, no. Okay, but not really. Let's see, is that 41? Okay. Oh, okay, I see. Does this? Hold on, let me see something here. You know, we need to actually update this to terminate. Oh, it does. Okay, so it does terminate all connections to the database first. So what? This is, okay, let's go ahead. Let's give this to our trusty AI to handle. Oh, we need to give it the full entire context. So this is something, shouldn't even, I guess this might be an example. This shouldn't even take that long to really do any of this stuff. But, you know, we're working with AI here, right? So we just want to make sure that, well, AI does all the work, or does most of the work, right? Okay. Let's see. Go ahead and make this happen, Mr. AI. All right, so we look like we're good to go. And let's see now, we are going to make sure now this creates our schema, our database, our user. Not necessarily in that order. All right, so we'll just go ahead and our schema name will be also here. And what do we have here? User created connection such and such. Wait a minute, what's going on? Oh, it actually did the connection again. All right, very nice. So it's just basically connecting as this particular, right? I'm really curious to know why this is an issue here, but as I said, I don't believe we actually need this, so. Let's ask the AI why is this something? So why is this needed? Okay. All right. Funny. I guess it. Okay. That's funny. Okay. It's just basically removing everything associated with that, which I'm like, okay, yeah. Right. Okay. That makes sense. We're not using that there, so take it out of there as well. Okay, well, that works. Didn't give me any kind of insight into why it had it there in the first place, but okay. We will accept that. We will go with that. Let's go ahead and drop that. Since I'm tired of typing here. Okay, once more. Okay, it's dropped. So now we'll go ahead and create. Now we'll create our schema. Everything should be created happily. There we go. So everything is great. So now let's go ahead and take a look at everything being great. All right, refresh. We go in here. We got our database. Clearly, we have the public schema. Okay. We're not seeing. Oh, okay. I'm logged in. I'm not logged in as what you call it. Okay. 1 second. Let's log in as the user we just created. All right. So let's see. Let's create a new connection. Okay. So welcome page. Okay, we'll do that. No. There we go. That's the database. We're connecting as the user. Oh. Okay. Password, we already know it's here. Here. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So here we go. So we connected as that user. That's made that wonderful connection, and that's cool. We're not having any history, applications. All right, so we're at least able to see that we can connect. All right, we can connect to our user or connect with that user. All right, and of course, if we need to, we can go ahead and let's see here. Server groups. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So very interesting here. Well, let's create a connection as this particular here. here. Oh man, that's name's getting annoying. DB connect. do that. All right, and of course it's just going to be localhost. Username here, great. It's not going to be, it's going to be database. Okay. And we already have the password, we're saving that, and there we go. Oh, wait, what? Unable to connect. Oh, that's interesting. Username. Oh, DB. Okay. All right, so, okay. And there we have it. So there we have our, our database schema, and this is the location where our tables will live. So, actually, let me see something here. Let's go back there. So a schema was created here. So these three already exist. Has authorization. This particular user. Okay. Video's long enough anyway, I think. But what I am not seeing here is our schema, just the data. Okay, so yeah, it's interesting. Not sure what's going on here. I will get to the bottom of this in the next wonderful video. Is the role. Okay. But anyway, I'll check in the files and we'll continue in the next video. So far, we just created our database, created a couple of scripts to make our database, I guess, dumping them and whatnot. Simple and straightforward. We didn't even get to, let's look at the scripts. So one more issue to actually circle back on. Let's take a look at our scripts here. So before we even run these things, we want to also take a look at these things here. So when we come back, we'll take a look at these scripts just to make sure they're, they make sense. And we'll also get to the bottom of the schema issue. That's it. All right. Hey, thank you guys so much, and see you guys later.